everyone, today I've decided to do the Fairytale IRL Book Tag. I seen Reagan, I think it was, from Peru's Project do this, and I just thought it looked really fun and really up my street because I love contemporary books, so I thought I could definitely easily answer them. Turns out it wasn't actually that easy. There were quite a lot of answers that I definitely think I could have put into other questions as well. They sort of doubled over a little bit, but I have managed to get completely different books for all the questions eventually. It's just taken me a while. So this book tag was created in celebration of the release of Something in Between by Melissa De La Cruz. And I have read The Isle of the Lost by Melissa De La Cruz and I loved it. I haven't read Return to the Isle of the Lost yet, still need to do that. But this is something completely different and I just thought I will definitely need to pick this up. So hopefully I will do that soon. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 1. The Fairy Godmother. Give an example of a great motherly or fatherly figure that gives our main protagonist a lot of advice. So for this one I picked Katie or Erin. I'm going to say Katie because she changes her name to Katie. So I'm going to say Katie in Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks. Katie's on the run from her violent boyfriend, and on the run she ends up meeting a guy called Alex, and Alex has 2 children, a son and a daughter, and they're only little, and he doesn't appear to have a wife anywhere or girlfriend or anything like that, but Katie soon finds out that his wife actually passed away. As the story progresses, Katie ends up kind of becomes this motherly figure to the 2 kids, and it is so lovely to see, and she just is really good with them, and she's always helping them out with things, and obviously they're only tiny, so she's not going to give out like advice you would give to an adult, but it's just making sure they're okay, helping them out if they need a bit of help, that kind of thing, and it's just really nice to see, so that's why I picked this one. Number 2, Prince Charming. Name a character in a contemporary novel that had to go out of the way or on a journey to help the person that they love. So this I found quite easy. I found this quite an obvious one, and that was Me Before You by Jojo Moyes, and obviously it's Lou. Now, Lou becomes a carer for Will in this book. It's a job she's never done before, and it's completely brand new to her, so she doesn't know what to expect, but Will is actually paralysed because he was in a motorbike accident. So Lou is the carer and she looks after him and waits on him hand and foot, but he doesn't like that. He's not bothered, his attitude is really bad, understandably, but Lou has decided that she wants to get him out of the house, she wants him to explore the world like he used to, and she will go out of her way to do anything to make him happy. So yes, it's an emotional roller coaster, this book. It is not the happiest thing in the world, but I definitely had to pick Lou for this one. Number 3, Forbidden Fruit. Name a character that gave in to temptation or was struggling with temptation. So for this I picked Maddie from You're the One That I Want by Giovanna Fletcher. There is a very much a love triangle situation in this. It's done really well though. It's not like a really sort of cheesy love triangle, I wouldn't say. So if you don't like love triangles, but you kind of want to give them another go, maybe pick up this one, it is quite good. But Maddie, Ben and Rob have been friends since primary school, like first school or whatever you want to call it, and they have grown up together. So Maddie and Rob end up getting together and Ben is at their wedding. Obviously they are still friends, but Ben has always had feelings for Maddie, he's just never really said, and Maddie is starting to wonder whether she has actually picked the right person to marry. Really good. But obviously there is that temptation with Maddie there. She's not sure what she wants and how she's going to deal with it. So yeah, first thing that came into my head for this question. Number 4, When the Clock Strikes Midnight. Name a story that has an event that is creating anxiety and fear in a group of people. Now this I decided to pick Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Not an obvious one for this question, I wouldn't say, but Kath ends up going to college with her twin sister Ren. And they're very different. Ren is very outgoing, very sociable, likes to go out and about with her friends, whereas Kath is much more, stays in her room, likes to write fan fiction, and just sort of keeps to herself. She's a little more introvert. But people do want her to try and get out of her room and things, but even sometimes she doesn't want to go down to get food and things because she doesn't want to talk to people. Of course, this might not exactly be a fear thing every time, but she might just not feel very sociable at some point. I'm sure we all have times where we just want to be on our own, want our own time, and that's fine. But for Kath, it's kind of all the time. She never wants to go out, and the people around her are really trying to sort of help her and be more sociable and things. So yeah, that's the one that came to my head for this one. Number 5, The Big Bad Wolf. Name an antagonist that the protagonist struggles against. So for this one I picked The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, and of course I'm talking about Charlie. I am going to use the antagonist as his own head, because Charlie is a normal sort of person, but he's had a really difficult past in certain aspects, and because of this he now struggles socially and mentally, and it's just very difficult for him to be in groups with people. But he tries, and he really wants to become this person who can go out and go to parties and socialise and have lots of friends. And it's lovely to see that he does try, and obviously he does have a few friends in this book that really help him, and that's lovely to see. I thought this was a slightly different answer in terms of the antagonist not being like a physical person, but it's kind of what I think. Charlie really does struggle with his own head, so I am using that as the antagonist. Number 6, The Power Within You. Name a character that felt they were ordinary, but ultimately found extreme strength within themselves. So this one I decided to pick Miles from Looking for Alaska. This is because he goes to boarding school, he goes away to boarding school, and he is a little bit quieter as well, and he sort of comes out of his shell a bit during his time at boarding school. He meets Alaska, and he really comes out of his shell because Alaska is very crazy, very outgoing, a bit unpredictable. So he sort of comes out of his shell then, but he's not necessarily completely comfortable with everything. He's not that strong, he doesn't feel he's that strong anyway. He feels that Alaska's so much more stronger than he is. But then tragedy does strike, and he has no choice but to be strong and keep going. And it is really amazing to see just how he copes and how his friends cope. It's just a really great read, and it is my favourite John Green book. Number 7, The Grand Ball. Name an event or situation in a story where one of the characters struggled with fitting in and had a major outing of trying to fit in. So for this I picked Sophie from Billy and Me. Now she works in a little cafe in the middle of nowhere kind of thing, little village or little town, and she is very comfortable with her life. She loves working at the cafe. There's regular customers come in, so she likes to talk to all of them. She knows exactly what she's doing at the cafe, and she's just very content with her life. But then one day a famous actor called Billy Buscombe walks into the cafe, and she ends up getting swept into this crazy life of fame, and she struggles to deal with it a little bit to start with, and she also doesn't seem to know how to act around the people Billy works with. So she does feel like a bit of an outsider when it comes to the fame kind of world, but she is very comfortable in her little coffee shop. So it's about finding that balance of being in the limelight and then being in her quiet little town. It's really good, and I absolutely love this book as well. This is probably my favourite Giovanna Fletcher book. Number 8, Fairest of Them All. Name a situation where there is the contemporary pressure of outer beauty and how that clashed with the perspective of inner beauty, and also how they interacted with each other. So for this I picked Eleanor and Park, and I am talking about Park for this one. He has a really horrible stepdad. He's not very nice at all. I really don't like him. And Park is a bit of a misfit, and he is just a bit of an outsider basically. And his stepdad thinks he acts way too feminine sometimes. And although this is more of a personality trait rather than a physical attribute, I think because you do see this sort of side of Park, then I think it is okay to answer this question. I have slightly twisted the rules on this one, but I'm going to use it. But Park's stepdad really bullies him about this, and he really is awful to him. But Park does try and accept himself for who he is, even though he's having a lot of stick from his stepdad at home. And it's sort of about his inner self fighting against what other people think and not really caring about what other people think either. So that was slightly bending the rules of this question, but it kind of works, so I'm going to use it. Number 9, The Evil Stepmother. Name a character or situation where the character is stepping into a role that is causing a lot of resentment or anger on behalf of someone else. So for this one I picked P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. I'm obviously not going to go into what this one is about, this is the second book. But there is a boy called Peter who is also in the first book, and in To All the Boys I Loved Before, the first book, Laura Jean writes letters to all the boys she's ever loved, and they are only for her, not for anyone else, but they end up getting sent out anyway. And one of these boys is Peter. Now in the first book I actually didn't mind Peter. I found him a little bit cocky, but other than that, I somehow dealt with him and I found him quite a good character, and it's the one I wanted to not like, but I couldn't help but like. But in this second book, Peter becomes a bit of an idiot, and Lara Jean and Peter are having this sort of fake relationship kind of thing. But Peter is still hanging out a lot with his ex-girlfriend, and this is obviously making Lara Jean feel like rubbish, and it makes her angry, and she's not happy about this because she needs this sort of fake relationship situation, and he is just messing it all up. So yeah, I would say Peter really causes a bit of frustration and anger towards Lara Jean in this one. And the final question, number 10, is the happily ever after. Name a set of characters that had a tough road but ultimately found happiness. Now, I could only think of one character out of a certain book for this one, because it was a good book to go with, but it only really focuses on one person. So I'm going to go with just one character rather than a set of characters. But this is Gina from 100 Pieces of Me, and this is by Lucy Dillon. So Gina's had some really tough times in her past, and she really struggles with coming to terms with it all, so she decides that she's going to have a completely clean sweep. She's going to start all over again and get rid of everything she owns apart from 100 items. She's going to keep 100 things, but that is it, nothing else. 100 actually seems like quite a lot, but I'm pretty sure if you go through your things, you will find you have a lot more than 100 things for the average kind of person. So obviously when she's sorting through her things, it is really difficult for her because there's things that are coming back to her, memories that she thought she'd forgotten that she'd rather forget, and they're all just come back to her, and she really doesn't want to sort of have to deal with it all. But she's a really strong character, she does really well, and yeah, ultimately she does come out on top. And yeah, it's just a really sweet book, and I really enjoyed this one when I read it. So that is it for this book tag. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And of course, I will tag all of you if you would like to do it. And if you do it, then let me know that you've done it as well. It would be great to see your videos too. So that is it for this video, and I will see you all in my next video very soon. Bye!